Hi, I'm Shubhra Gupta, the film critic of the Indian Express, and here are my top five shows on OTT platforms for 2023. And I absolutely have. I mean, I have to say how great this year has been for this format. I had a great deal of difficulty in narrowing it down to five, but I had no difficulty at all in holding on to my top show of the year, which is Kohrra. Which is a collaboration between Sudeep Sharma, between Randeep Jha, Gunjit. I think it's uh, Diggy Sisodia, Randeep Jha, Gunjit Chopra, and Sudeep Sharma. The collaboration between the showrunner, between the director and the writers, has come with a show that is deeply authentic and extremely moving, and also the fact of it keeping a murder mystery at the heart of it and opening it up to so much else. Really, it sort of leapt to my favorite spot many months ago, and it hasn't been dislodged by anything else. The most wonderful part of this of the web series is not just the writing, which is very very good, but the fact that the people who the faces in this series, the actors, all looked as if they came from that Punjab village. They were not acting. They were not speaking the language as something that they had rehearsed. It felt like they spoke the language that they had been born speaking, which I think is brilliant. I do want to mention Subinder Vicky. I want to mention Barun Sopti and Harleen Sethi, Rachel Shelley. All of these people sort of got together. Also Manish Chaudhary and Varun Badola. I think these people really made this. It's a five-part series on Netflix, and I think after this is done, I'm going to go back and watch it again. I really liked it so much. The next thing, which I think was equally good, was the next show was Vikramaditya Motwane's Jubilee, which is like basically a period piece, or a sort of a beginning of the Indian Hindi cinema in Mumbai, which became India after the partition. So we have a little bit of the pre-partition, the film industry that was so much a part of Lahore and Bombay. I shouldn't say Mumbai; it was Bombay at that point of time. And of course, when that artificial line was drawn between the two nations, and the two nations came to be, the everything shifted to Bombay, and the people who were so well off pre-partition came to Bombay, lived in refugee camps, and their whole connection and how they grew the film industry is something that I wasn't aware of, especially the Sindhi community, which Vikramaditya Motwane and his writer Atul Sabharwal and his actors, all of them, they do such a good job in bringing that period alive. And just the little details that Vikramaditya puts into his series, and the way they all of them come together. It's Vamika Gabbi, it's Aditya Rao Hydari, it's the two other names were, the younger ones were Siddhant Gupta, and I think what was the other one? There was, it is Nandish Singh Sandhu, and of course, Prosenjit Roy and Akarsh Khurana, all of them, and not Akarsh, Apar Shakti Khurana, all of them were they looked as if they were they were born in that period, and they were like very, very extremely authentic, extremely interesting, very intriguing. All of this came together brilliantly. I really, really enjoyed that show as well. The other three were definitely Trial by Fire, which is again a Randeep Jha show, which is again very difficult thing to watch because it is about a tragedy which was completely avoidable, which shouldn't have happened. It was a fire in the Upahar Theatre, which is a theatre in South Delhi. And there were 59 people died in that show when it went up in flames, and there was a stampede, and doors were closed. People couldn't get out, and uh, the 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 show is about the fight and about the struggle of the Krishnamurti couple. It's about, played by Abhay Deol and Rajshri Deshpande so beautifully, about their struggle. First of all, just coming to terms with the loss of two of their children. Both their teenage children perished in this fire, and there were so many other people who died. So these people, this couple, Neelam Krishnamurti and her husband Shekhar, they, while they are dealing with their grief, their whole the kind of resilience that they showed in getting together, making a group, and fighting the biggest, one of the biggest, building conglomerates in the country, the Ansals. I think the series does a great job in, again, taking us back to that time, and about the kind of hard lives that this couple lived. And it's so inspiring, this story. And it's also a cautionary tale about never happening ever again. And which is why, please do not ever stand in a theater and block the exits. Do not ever do that. I was in that theater just the show before, and I'll never ever forget that day. Yeah, so I'm taking a deep breath here. Going on to the next one is Kaala Paani, which is a slightly futuristic tale about, set in the Andamans, about a virus, a deadly virus which comes and sort of takes over the lives of the people in that island, and there is really no cure. Uh, it coming 3-4 years after COVID, it feels as if, it's like a continuation of that. But again, it's a story about corporate greed, and about how a corporation is digging deep into the soil, and it's ruining the ecological balance of that island, which is where this something escapes. And there is a supernatural, surreal element to it, which again the show does so well. And it's also one of the most beautifully shot web series that I've seen this entire year. Again, it kept me with it, despite the fact that it has some patches which I wasn't completely convinced about. But on the whole, I think this is a great show, and yeah, I'm waiting for the second season. And I think the one that I also wanted to mention is, yeah, the fifth one is one segment in Lust Stories Part 2, which I didn't like at all the rest of them, but this one segment called The Mirror, in Konkona Sen Sharma directs it, and it has it has Tilotoma Showman, Amrita Subhash in the main. Again, it's a two-hander main roles, where one of them is the owner of that very posh flat. The other one is a house help who works there, and it's about how the two women are connected in ways that they would never imagine. It has sex in the middle of it. It has desire in the middle of it. It has connection in the middle of it. It is a show and a theme that we really haven't seen done like this before, and I think it really deserved to be. I think it could even be a film, if not just the 40-minute segment. I wanted to see more of what happens to these women as they go forward in their conflicted but complicated but connected lives. And of course, I do want to mention a few others which would have been in my top list, and they are the top 5 if it had been any other year. But this has been a great year for OTT shows. So I want to start with Shiv Ravel's The Railway Men, which is about the Bhopal gas tragedy, which happened way back in 1984, but the impact of which it still is felt in the city, and in the whole the way we have dealt with that tragedy, where so many thousands of people died. It really talks about how a US corporation came in here created a factory which spewed poisonous gas in the air, and literally had no, there was no, and it left the country with so much impunity. There was hardly any consequences for the corporation, but the kind of consequences that the people of Bhopal have had to face all these years is something that we can still see. It has Madhavan, it has Babil Khan, it has K.K. Menon, and it has Divyendu Sharma. All of them come together in the show and really make it something that is completely worth your while. Then the one that I really enjoyed was Homi Ajania's Saas Bahu or Flamingo, which is about a badass drug dealer played by Dimple Kapadia and her lady. The women who actually help her in this enterprise are all women, which is again, I really liked it for all its, the mad kind of, it's a caper, it's great fun, and all the men in this are complete wusses, and I really enjoyed the show. I also wanted to talk about Scam 2003, which is directed by Tushar Hiranandani and show run by Hansal Mehta. It is about yet another scamster called Telgi, and in which Gagan Dev Ria really aces the role. And also have two more, Kalkut, directed by Sumit Saxena, and top lined by Vijay Verma, was again a small town in UP about women being at the receiving end of male ire for no fault of theirs, and it is again, it is a police procedural, but it's also a very human story, which I really liked. School of Lies, again, Avinash Arun hemming it with. It is a story about a boarding school. It's about young people who lie. It's about a murder, and it's about a great human story, which I thoroughly enjoyed. And then, of course, I have Rainbow Rishta, which has one of a very unusual kind of up close and personal accounts of people on the LGBTQ spectrum. This is it's a documentary kind of thing, but it is so well done, because here are people who are talking about their lives and the things that happen to them all the time. And again, something we've seen in fiction, but it's a hard call to actually face a camera and talk about these things that are happening. And here it is about relationships, it's about getting married, it's about all that, and it's about being in the closet, it's about coming out. And I think it's something that we all need to be watching. Definitely one of my top show of 2023.